When we borrow words from another language, it often seems like they're mistranslated. But that's not how borrowing works. Think about it. Why would we borrow a word from another language to mean the exact same thing as a word we already have? When we borrow a word from another language, it's because it has a meaning that we find useful, or it's because it's attached to a specific social context. The word chai in English doesn't mean tea, it means a specific kind of tea. The word latte in English doesn't mean milk like it does in Italian, instead it refers to a specific kind of milk drink. This is what's called a division of semantic space. Borrowing words from other languages allows us to divide up the meaning, divide up the semantic space of the world in more nuanced, fine-grained ways. One of the coolest examples of this is French versus English words for animals. After the Norman invasion, English borrowed a lot of French words for animals, but they didn't borrow them to refer to the animal, they borrowed them to refer to the type of meat that came from that animal. Because the French were the ruling class at the time, the use of French words for animals was associated with things like fine dining and eating the animal, whereas the English words for the animals were associated with like livestock and farming. So you get cow versus beef, pig versus pork, calf versus veal, sheep versus mutton, hen versus poultry, and deer versus venison. In all of those pairs, the first word is the English one and refers to the animal, and the second word is the French one and refers to the food that comes from that animal. So this is a great example of how borrowing words from other languages with more specific meanings allows us to divide up the semantic space in more fine-grained ways.